Valentine's Day is way overrated, and it is not just about romantic love. I find it's the perfect moment to really fall in love with yourself. And so today I'm going to share with you three simple ways that you can give yourself some love and even a self-love makeover to reconnect with your most authentic self. Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Harmony, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when all my videos and content come live. I'm bringing you weekly content to help you become your best self and live your best life. So today we're going to talk about self-love. And I want to share with you a little bit of my own experience with this from back in 2021 after I'd had COVID. And I had been in bed for 4 months, and it took me 18 months recovery. And I felt like I was hanging on the side of like a brick wall with my fingernails being ripped off as I was just kind of going down in a sense of my energy and putting on some weight and not feeling good about myself for being in that situation and almost being forced to surrender. And at that time, a lot of you probably remember me doing my self-love makeover, where I had been planning a photo shoot and I was going to do a shopping spree in Miami and this whole makeover, and I had to cancel it all based on me being ill. So I kind of afterwards started just waiting for me to feel better about myself, waiting for me to lose the weight. And what I really discovered in that was I needed to learn how to love myself where I was for who I was in that given moment. And so today, that's what I want you to look at within yourself is no matter where you are, it's coming into a place of accepting that and to know that when you fill up your own love bank or your own cup first, that's actually how you have more to give other people. And we show up on this journey to help others. It can really be easy to put ourselves in the back burner, to not give ourselves permission on a daily basis to fully honor our own needs. And so I challenge you to really dig deep and really take a look at within yourself of where you haven't been showing up for you so that you can love that part of you. We can be very critical on ourselves for not being where we think we should be, or how we should look, or how we should be able to just do more than what we can do. And I don't know about you, but I've been pretty hard on myself. And that's one of the things that I'm really taking time now to catch that self-criticism, that self-sense of not feeling good enough for who I am now. So the first tip to start loving yourself first is to acknowledge your own needs. And that is really the first step in all of this, because you want something from someone, and you want love from someone, and you want someone to show up emotionally, physically, and be present for you. And you want them to make you feel a certain way, meaning that you want them to show appreciation, and you want them to show respect, you want them to show love. But everybody's love language is different. And so if you don't even know for sure what it is that your needs are, there's no way anybody else can meet those needs. And you might expect certain things from a person, but you really need to take time to listen to your own body, your own soul, your own needs, and start showing up for it yourself. And that will then put you in a position to attract towards you somebody that's going to give you what it is, because you're very clear on what that is. So what I highly recommend you do today or this weekend or whenever you're watching this, is to take a few minutes to just really close your eyes and connect to your heart. And from that level is, what do I need? And that's the other thing, your need can change. It can change from one day to the next, 1 minute to the next, from one moment to the next, basically. And so in this moment, where are you and what do you need? What would make you feel acknowledged? What would make you feel like someone is listening to you, supporting you, showing up for you? And if you look around and people are continuously not showing up for you or ghosting you or not necessarily providing for you what it is you're wanting, then you really need to look at why you're doing that to yourself, because it's only a reflection of what you're doing within yourself. So if you've been wanting to feel acknowledged for who you are, really just listen to your soul and honor what it is that it's asking for. So the second way to show your own self-love is to release your guilt for putting yourself first, usually, because we have been taught that if we even put our own needs first or put ourselves first, that we're being selfish. That's just society, and it's being projected onto us. Because of that, we've become a society that's always running on empty and having some sort of resentment, usually because you're overgiving. And that's what happens is you give, you give, you give, you're depleted, you have nothing that's coming back, but it's usually because you are not receiving or don't know how to receive. And then if you don't show up for someone else, then you feel guilty for not doing that. And a lot of people even have this people pleasing to where they want to try to accommodate other people's needs over their own. And because of that, it sets up an expectation of something you desire in return from someone, which makes what you're giving conditional. And then when you put the condition on it, it really robs of the joy of the whole process of the harmonic exchange of what true love is all about. So today, I really recommend you do something for yourself that is putting yourself first and not feel the guilt. The other place that can come from when you do feel the guilt is if somebody actually does something from you, not even, it's a form of people pleasing, but it's also in a sense you need to give more than what you're receiving, because if you receive, there's a sense that you're going to owe somebody something. And therefore, you don't want to owe anybody anything. And because you don't want to owe anybody anything, then you'd rather give more than you get back. I've had to go back into my childhood and recognize I was doing this with my parents, and especially my mother. My mother was always a very giving person and really just showered me with all this love. And it was almost too much and too much energy coming at me. So I kind of put up this protective wall. And in that, though, what I've noticed that I actually even took on from her that I'm sure that she has done is that feeling the guilt of not showing up for people and overextending yourself. So one of the things I did on the flip side of that is I didn't want anybody to do anything for me because I didn't want to be overdoing and giving to other people. And then on the flip side of that, then what would happen is if I didn't show up for people, but they showed up for me, then I felt guilty because they're showing up for me and I never showed up for them. And I could tell it's taken me back into my childhood to receive from my mother from a combination of love, gifts, money, all these things that I wouldn't receive when I was young. Like they're coming back to me now from a place of not feeling guilty to receive it. And therefore also knowing that putting my own needs first is not selfish, number one. Number two, I don't have to feel guilty because I do or because I receive. So take some time today to look around your interactions and see where you're overgiving, overextending, and feeling guilty because you're not giving enough if something's even given to you. And that knowing that unconsciously that's not selfish. Now, I have a free ebook that you can download in the link above or below. And it is Self-Love is Not Selfish. It's an actual ebook, and you can check that out. It's free, and it will walk you through some processes of self-love in a way that will be really good prompts and really good observation for you to learn more about what it is that you are doing that's causing you to feel guilty. So the third way to show yourself love is to reconnect with your own truth. And we show up in these places of expectation. Somewhere in that creates this role or this label or this expectation. And so do some mirror work around you, what's going on around you. Take a look at the version of you that actually wants what you want to have. And look deeply in that and look at, where do I need to accept these parts of me that I'm denying myself from standing up, showing up, and speaking up and expressing who I am. And to know that if you're feeling joyful, then that's your compass. If you're feeling peaceful, that's your compass. And if you're not, then most likely whatever it is you're participating in is not even your truth. It's something that you've taken on from other people. But when these interactions occur again, you can use these experiences as the mirror to show you inside of yourself the parts of you that you're not accepting. And if you're not accepting them, you can't be in love with yourself, because being in love with yourself calls for you loving all parts of you, the shadow and the light, the good and the bad. And somewhere along the way, we've taken on the idea that if we're not perfect, if we're not in our fullest version of ourselves, highest version of ourselves, living our truth, speaking our truth, and showing up, and what we're doing is we're judging the parts of ourselves that we don't see good enough. And because we don't see good enough, then that's putting us in this role of separating ourselves from who we truly are in that authentic version. And in that space, we're not living our truth. Because the truth is we're more than enough. There are things and situations that we go through in our life that's really mirroring back to us where we're not showing up, where we're not accepting, where we're not connecting to this authentic version that is our natural version that we're only remembering because we see ourselves as not living the life that we would consider being this highest version. We're showing up for everyone else, but we're not showing up for ourselves. And so this is sabotage. And because it's sabotage, then we're constantly bombarding ourselves with these negative rejections that we're rejecting ourselves. And the true you is someone that you can love for who you are, where you are, and that you don't have to go through a bunch of hoops or a bunch of inner work to be acceptable, to be loved. When you stop rejecting your own self, your own truth, your own knowing, your own inner radiance of who you are, the core essence of your being, of this light and this reflection of love that is an expression of divine love, when we truly come into this higher version and our highest truth, then we are merging, we're becoming one, we're melding, we're uniting with this higher source energy, our higher selves, our highest truth. And that's helping us come into alignment with our head and our heart, being this wholeness and oneness and reconnecting to that authentic truth inside of us. So if you're ready to take this self-love makeover for yourself deeper, what I would really highly recommend you do is check out my playlist on the 6 aspects to love yourself first. It is packed with all kinds of tools that's going to help you be able to embody self-love at the core of your own being, so you can experience that full self-love makeover for yourself, so you can remember that you are worthy of love in your life and in this world, and especially with yourself. So one of the things I did when I was recovering from my COVID experiences, and I realized I wasn't accepting or loving myself for where I was, for being 20 pounds overweight and putting off the photo shoot and not doing the shopping spree and all of those things, I ended up doing a quantum makeover where I took a look at what's the best hair for me, what's the best colors for me, what's the best clothes for me in the style. And then I hired a stylist to take me shopping and buy the right clothes for me. And then I had a photographer that did this amazing photo shoot for me. And part of that was me showing up for me in a place that I was worthy where I was, and that I was okay the way I was. And when we come into acceptance of who we are, where we are, that is when true magic happens and we begin to shift. And for me, that's whenever I was able to start losing the weight. I'd love to know, what's one small way you'll practice self-love today? Make sure to put that in the comments, and let's inspire each other, lift each other up. And happy Valentine's Day, beautiful soul. I love you so much, sending you loads and loads of love. Make sure to like, comment, share the shine, and I'll see you next week.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.